Now, after we showed you last night how Biden and his team's answers on this 2024, whether he's going to run or not, have been evolving through the year, we have a new entry tonight to bring you. Democrat Senator Chris Coons says it's going to be a while before we get a definitive answer. He said President Biden has always been someone who talked about the need for a transition to a new generation of leaders. The question is just when, and it's not clear to me that he's made up his mind about when that should happen. Joining me now is Ari Fleischer, Fox News contributor, and former White House press secretary. Ari, Coons is saying that Joe Biden may wait until the middle of next year to decide.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, listen, as a Republican, I would want nothing more than for Joe Biden to declare for re-election and run, because I would like to run against a guy who's going to be 82 years old on Election Day, or right after Election Day in the year 2024. But the fact of the matter is, Laura, and I predicted this last May, Joe Biden is not going to run for re-election. And Chris Coons, Senator Coons, who was Biden's former chief of staff, is giving an early indication of that. The Democrat Party is not, especially after they're going to lose the House, may lose the Senate. They're not going to want a candidate who's about to turn 80, an unpopular president presiding over a bad economy, to be their leader in the future. Democrats are just not going to want Biden to step up and run again.
Now, someone who's hinted, Ari, that he'll run if Biden won't is Gavin Newsom, because he did such a bang-up job in California. He's already hitting the campaign trail with a stop at the Clinton Global Initiative. We have to pay homage there. And he bragged about what he did to California's energy industry. Watch.
We are as committed and more resolved than we've ever been to accelerate this transition. And with all due respect to those conservative governors out there, Greg Abbott and others, they're as dumb as they want to be, and they're just doubling down on stupid, and we will not follow their path. We're going in a completely different direction.
Well, Ari, whose economic growth eclipses California's, Florida's, Texas's, because they stayed open during the pandemic and refused to give in to the fearmongers?
And when it comes to people going in a different direction, Governor Newsom should be talking about his own constituents, since they're leaving California. The state is actually shrinking in population for the first time in decades. Look, when Joe Biden doesn't run, Laura, we're going to have some 20 to 30 Democrat candidates run. It's going to be mayhem, and it's a productive mayhem. I'm a big believer in primaries as the right way to sort out the future for either party. But it's going to be mayhem on the Democrat side. If you remember, in 2020, you had two nights of debates for the Democrats. They had the big kid debate and the little kid debate. And that's going to happen again. That's how many Democrats are going to throw their hat in the ring. But the Democrats need a generational change, and most Democrats know it and admit it. When you look at the age of Senator Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, it's a team led by 80-year-olds and up. And no, the American people, the Democratic Party, we're a country that wants renewal. We want fresh starts. We want new people. Joe Biden can say to the American people, he did his job. He defeated Donald Trump. That's what he'll retire with and remember. But it's time for somebody new on the Democratic side. And that's the message the Democrats are going to be saying. Republicans want him to run.
All right, Ari, great to see you tonight, as always.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.